My name is Harper Lane, and I'm 33. I can back a 48 into a space the size of a shoebox and find a decent egg sandwich in any town off I-80 by the smell of the fryer. My cab smells like diesel and pine, the cheap cardboard tree I hang because it reminds me of the only place I ever rested as a kid. Passenger seat, windows cracked, Dad humming off key while the engine ticked itself to sleep. In my family, I'm the mover, the fixer, the one with the big shoulders. That sounds flattering until you realize it means mule. If a table needs to be carried, I carry it. If a bill needs a name, mine is printed clean and legible. Ethan, my little brother, is the opposite. Flashy, allergic to boring, excellent at stories about messes he made, told like they were adventures. Mom calls him her golden boy, like it's a diagnosis. Dad grunts approval from a recliner positioned exactly between ESPN and denial. This year, my birthday landed on a Saturday between runs. I had a 34-hour reset. Mom said, "You can rest here, honey," which means drive to the suburbs and smile like a daughter instead of sleeping in the sleeper like a driver. I didn't argue. I bought a store cake because money is tight and Ethan forgot his wallet. I also brought paper plates because I always bring the thing everyone forgets. Inside, it smelled like lemon cleaner and roast chicken. They'd taped a dollar store tablecloth with balloons to the dining table. Ethan arrived late in sunglasses, indoors, of course, carrying nothing and a story about networking at a bar. His son Max, 5 years old, ran around in dinosaur socks. I bought those socks last Christmas. He loves them. We did the song. I blew the candles. I cut slices. I handed plates. The last piece had Harper piped in innocent blue. I held it out to Max. "Happy birthday, buddy," I said. He looked up at Ethan, waiting for weather. Ethan smirked. Max took the plate in both hands, turned it over like a pancake, and dropped the cake. Spatter, frosting on the tile, my boot, the dog's ear. Max giggled. Ethan laughed harder. "Eat it off the ground," Max announced, bright and proud, nailing the line he had clearly heard. I didn't say a word. I stared at the mess. Mom did her tiny conflict avoidance laugh. Dad grunted something that meant nothing. Ethan shrugged. "Relax. He's joking." It wasn't the cake. It was permission. It was the test in Ethan's eyes, the same dare behind every little favor that turns into a monthly payment. Inside my head, something clicked, not loud, like a ratchet notching one tooth tighter. I grabbed paper towels from the counter, knelt, cleaned the floor. The dog tried to help. I wiped my boot. I rinsed my hands. "It's fine," I said. "See?" Ethan told Max. "Aunt Harper doesn't mind." Everyone moved on. Chicken, potatoes, nothing conversation. I chewed and counted my breaths and watched Max chase a balloon. When I put on my jacket, Max waved. "Bye, Auntie. Sorry." His eyes were big. He's 5. He only repeats what he hears. "It's fine," I said again, and the words tasted like metal. I drove back to the city with sugar drying sticky on my boot, parked the rig at the yard, climbed into the cab, sat on the edge of the bunk and looked at my hands. They were steady. The quiet wrapped around me like a clean sheet. Pine and diesel. Tick, tick, tick. People always want the ending, the screenshot, the big line, the explosion. It's never one explosion. It's years of small leaks. I started driving at 21. Local runs first. By 25, long haul, me and the white noise of miles. Money isn't movie money, but it's honest. Fuel, per diem, tires, repairs, grown-up math, my favorite kind. The kind where numbers line up because you made them. Ethan hated boring. He bounced from ventures to ventures. Smoothie truck, t-shirt brand, a crypto thing that ate his rent. Mom called them rough patches like she was petting a dog with rabies. My name became the patch. Your credit is better. 4 words that have cost me more than any breakdown on Donner Pass. First, it was his car. Dealer needed a cosigner. I was 26, on a loading dock in Des Moines, neon vest, styrofoam coffee, the phone pressed between ear and shoulder. "Just sign. He'll pay." He missed the second payment. The bank called me. I paid so mine wouldn't get hit. Then a business card, just for gas and supplies. Joint, of course. Late fees stacked like pallets. I closed it to new charges and started mowing down debt while Ethan told me he was between deposits. Then Dad's knee went bad. The hospital wanted a deposit. That one I don't regret. I wired it, Dad cried. You saved me, kid. Later, whenever I brought up debt, someone always said, after everything we did for you. And I wanted to ask what everything was besides groceries and a childhood filled with chores graded pass/fail with no curve. By 30, my name was welded to three things: Ethan's car loan, refinanced once to lower his payment that I still covered, a joint store card he opened in my face because they had a deal. He bought a TV. We'll both use at Mom's, where I do not live, and a line for inventory right before the shirts are about to pop. The shirts didn't pop. The line did. Humiliations came small. Ethan borrowing my GPS and returning it sticky, using my fuel card by accident, tripping a fraud alert that had me explaining at 3 a.m. why my diesel showed up in a town I'd never seen. Family jokes about Harper and her little spreadsheets, Mom giggling like my caution was a party trick. So I started keeping a ledger in a tiny notebook. April 4th, $250, permit late fee. May 19th, $480 inventory emergency. June 2nd, $90, Max's meds, sent without hesitation. June 30th, $310. I'll Venmo tonight. He didn't. Numbers don't have feelings, but mine started carrying emotions like bricks. The cake wasn't the breakdown, it was the siren test. We all heard it. We all kept eating. That night, after the terminal shower and a microwave noodle cup in the lounge, a text landed at 9:47 p.m. From Mom, formal as HR. We've chosen to sever all contact. Stay away forever. A second later, Ethan liked it. A little red heart next to forever. Cute. I typed a reply, deleted it, typed another, deleted that too. I paced past the dead popcorn machine and listened for the sound I trust more than language. There it was, that quiet click, the one a cylinder makes when the pins line up. I sat down, thumbs steady, sent one sentence. Removing my name from every loan tomorrow. I put the phone face down and made instant coffee. The screen lit like a beacon I refused to see. Somewhere in there, Ryan called. 2 rings I let slip, then his text. You okay? Call if you want. A minute later, his ex Tessa posted a meme about family forgiving, debt forgotten, the kind of soft dagger she likes. I didn't bite. By midnight, the group chat was on fire. 53 missed calls. Variations of answer. What does that mean? Don't you dare. I drew my bunk curtain and lay back. The cab hummed. I slept like someone had quietly moved a pallet off my chest. Banks smell like paper and tired coffee. I walked in at 8:59 a.m. with a folder fat enough to creak. I'd built it in truck stop booths and terminal lounges, printouts, contract numbers, policies I read, while the reefer unit purred and a clock counted down my hours of service. The branch manager pointed me to a desk where a woman with storm gray eyes and a practical bun sat beneath a fake ficus. Carla, her badge said, how can I help? I need to start removals wherever policy lets me, I said. Cosigner, guarantor, joint accounts closed to new charges. I know the rules. I'm here to follow them. She took the folder like a mechanic taking a rattle you can hear but can't place. We'll go one by one, she said, and I exhaled for what felt like the first time since cake hit tile. We started with the car loan. As cosigner, you can request removal, she explained, clicking through. He'll have to qualify solo or substitute a new cosigner. 30-day window. If he can't, your obligation continues until it's refinanced. Trigger the review, I said. Click. A printer began to purr. She slid forms across. I initialed. I signed. Each stamp sounded like a door latch. The line of credit? I asked. She nodded. As guarantor, you can revoke future liability with written notice. Bank reviews risk and may freeze increases. Prior charges remain, but any new extension requires reapproval without your guarantee. Do it, I said. Click stamp. The joint store card, she continued, can be closed to new charges today. You'll both be liable for existing balance, but no more swipes at register number 3 because the TV was on sale. Close it, I said, and tasted relief like clean water. My phone vibrated on the desk. Mom, Dad, Ethan, the group thread, even a number I didn't recognize that read, "We can work this out," and smelled like Ethan anyway. I didn't flip the screen. Carla noticed and didn't comment. God bless professionals. Anything else tied up in your name? she asked. I hesitated. There's my sanity, I said, and she huffed one quiet laugh that didn't leak sympathy. It held it. When we were done, she tapped the stack straight. There will be noise, she said. There always is when money moves away from the mouth that's used to eating. Noise, I repeated. You're doing the right thing, she added. Not a pep talk. A weather report from someone who'd seen floods. I drove straight from the bank to the old house because I knew the matinee would be there. Mom's living room with the good lamps, Dad set like furniture, Ethan pacing with his phone in his fist like a script. Mom opened the door before I knocked. Explain yourself, she said, every syllable starch stiff. I stepped inside and let the quiet recognize me. The TV was off for once. The lemon cleaner smell had already faded into something metallic. Dad's jaw worked like it was chewing a word that wouldn't break down. I followed policy, I said. I'm removing myself from things I should never have been in. Over a joke? Ethan snorted. Over cake? This isn't about cake, I said. It's about my name being a tool you reach for every time you strip a screw. I held up the folder. So here's how it works from now on. No cosigns, no emergency transfers, no joint anything. If a company calls, I refer them to the primary. If you text me at 1 a.m. about a bill due at 8, I will not answer. That's the policy. Mom pressed a hand to her chest like the word policy had insulted her personally. We raised you better than this. You raised me to work, I said. I do. You raised me to fix. I did. You turned that into my job title. Dad tried pragmatism, voice gone flat with mileage. Be practical, Harper. If you step away like this, your brother's credit is... His, I said. Like mine is mine. Ethan barked a laugh that didn't have humor in it. You like this. The hero speech. You love the attention. No, I said. I love quiet. Helping was the only way to buy it in this house. He took a step closer, voice dropping to the threat register. Undo it. No. Say it nicer, he smirked. I won't, I said, and I won't explain it again. He pivoted to his favorite card. Max will suffer. I met his eyes and felt something settle, heavy, and right. Your son will learn from what you do, not from what I pay. Silence stretched. You could hear the refrigerator click, the clock's second hand. Mom's face hardened to the shape she wears when she chooses a side and calls it love. If you walk out, she said soft and lethal, don't come back. You texted me last night, I said, to stay away forever. That was emotion, she snapped. You knew what I meant. I know what you wrote, I said. I believed you. Ethan held his phone up like a mirror and sneered. You think anyone's going to clap for you? Wow, Harper said no for once. You'll crawl back when you need us. I don't need your approval, I said. I need my name back. The moment arrived the way a road levels after a long grade, like the engine breathing differently because the mountain is behind you. My hands were loose at my sides. My voice didn't rise. This isn't revenge, I said. It's closure. Mom flinched, like the word was a draft in a house with bad windows. Dad looked at his hands as if they might tell him which daughter I was. Ethan smirked and didn't notice his smile was tired. Closure means, I continued, the ledger stops here. No more phantom debt collected in the currency of guilt. If you add me to anything, I dispute it. If you lean on me, I step aside. That's not punishment. That's a lock finally installed on a door that's been swinging all my life. You're heartless, Mom said, stamping the label like a notary. I'm tired, I said, and done. I turned. At the threshold, Dad's voice found me like a low beam headlight. Harper? I paused. He swallowed a word and chose a smaller one. Drive safe. I always do, I said, and meant the second thing I didn't say. You could have stood up. On the way out, I noticed Ethan's hatchback with a parking ticket pinned like a dare under the wiper. I didn't touch it. I didn't fix it. I didn't even straighten it. I walked to the truck, feeling the world in sharper focus, like a windshield after you hit the wipers once and the smear clears. At the yard, I changed passwords, pulled my credit report on the terminal computer, circling bruises like a mechanic chalking dents, faxed forms from a machine that looked older than me. Learned which hold music is the worst, store card, by a mile. Drove my afternoon run through rain that made the asphalt a river and the wipers a metronome. My phone shook itself across the dash with the force of the calls. I let it. On the CB, a driver joked about the storm. I answered with a laugh I didn't have to manufacture. Back at the motel that night, Ryan called again. I picked up this time. You good? He asked. I'm clear, I said. Clear's good, he said. Want me to come by tomorrow? I'll bring coffee that isn't brown sadness. Yeah, I said, surprised at how quickly the yes came. Tomorrow. After we hung up, Tessa posted another pastel quote about forgiveness with a caption that read, Family Fi, Family Pride. Ryan texted a screenshot and, beneath it, ignore the noise. I replied with a picture of my folder and wrote, Installing doors. He sent back a tiny lock emoji and a heart that didn't look like a stamp. It looked like a thing that lives. The sky outside the blinds went from wet black to the thin gray that means morning is on the way. I lay on the motel bed and listened past the hum of the ice machine to the small interior sound I trust. Click. A cylinder seated, a policy set, a life rekeyed to me. The first week after I cut the cords was paperwork and quiet. The kind of quiet that feels like a clean countertop. Strange, smooth, suspicious at first. Then the noise came. Mom's texts arrived in tidy waves. Day 1, you're making a mistake. Day 2, we can fix this if you apologize. Day 3, Max cried for you. Day 4, a photo, Max holding a crayon drawing of a truck. She wrote, he said, it's yours. Day 5, call me now. Day 6, your father isn't sleeping. Day 7, silence. Silence in my family was the loudest threat of all. Ethan alternated between guilt and mockery. Text 1, Bank says you can't, sis. Be real. Text 2, okay, serious? Call me. Max misses you. Text 3, you owe us, LOL. Then, at 2:11 a.m., a voice memo. I didn't listen. I could already hear his tone. Smug first, wounded second, smug again before it ended. Dad called from a number I didn't know. I let it ring out while fueling in Wyoming. The voicemail said, Harper, I get it more than you think. Just don't let it go so far you can't come back. He hung up like the words weighed too much. Work felt different. My cab felt bigger. I cleaned the dash, tightened loose screws, replaced the air freshener. When you stop carrying other people's weight, even your posture changes. Breakfast became real food. Eggs, toast, not gas station pastries. I slept 6 hours straight, once even 7. The logbook looked normal instead of frantic. Every morning, before the highway noise swallowed me, I'd whisper, keep it clean. It meant the road. It meant my life. Then came the retroactive bills. Mom texted, since you're choosing independence, we should settle accounts. Attached was a list of loans, a grocery run from 2018, a pack of diapers from 2015, a gas bill you used when visiting. I screenshotted it, added it to a new folder on my phone labeled Weather, a storm tracker. Anytime manipulation blew in, I filed it there. When the air got heavy, I opened the folder and reminded myself what thunder looks like before it hits. Ryan saw the change in me before I did. You hum now, he said one night, flipping burgers on the skillet. I do not. You do, badly, but it's cute. He grinned. You don't look tired anymore. Maybe I'm just hiding it better, I teased. No, he said. You're lighter, like you finally put something down. I smiled, but didn't say it out loud. What I'd put down wasn't something, it was someone. 2 weeks later, the knock came. 3 sharp raps. Ethan. I watched through the peephole. Same restless stance, same cheap cologne, same entitlement pretending to be charm. Open up, he said. We can talk like this, I replied, voice steady through the chain. He scoffed. You think a chain stops family? It stops you. He leaned close enough that I saw my own reflection in his sunglasses. You'll ruin me over pride. Get a cheaper car, I said. Take the bus. I have a son, he said, like that was checkmate. So did Dad, I said. He worked, and he didn't add Grandpa to his credit cards. He tried the pity card next. Just co-sign one last time. No? Say it nicer. I won't. He exhaled, exasperated. You'll regret this. Better than living as a wallet. He called me something small, then walked away. His footsteps on the stairs sounded like an echo finally running out of hallway. 2 days later, Dad texted, Proud of you. Don't tell your mother I said that. I stared at it for a long time, then wrote back, Thanks. He replied with a thumbs up emoji, tiny but real. For the first time in years, a message from my family didn't demand repayment. A week after that, Carla from the bank called. Her calm voice cut through the diesel hum. Joint store account is closed to new charges, she said. Line of credit guarantee revoked. Car loan, 30 days for your brother to refinance. Each sentence was a hinge closing. I thanked her, really thanked her. That night, Mom sent a paragraph about wolves and packs. You don't leave family in the snow. I typed, deleted, retyped, then landed on one clean reply. Love doesn't require debt. I won't carry yours. Send. There was a new silence after that one. The kind that didn't feel like a threat. The kind where you could hear your own breathing. Ryan came by Saturday. He brought donuts and that stupidly expensive coffee he swears tastes like redemption. We sat on the couch, legs tangled, watching a storm crawl across the sky. Your family's going to keep testing the lock, he said quietly. I know. You ready for that? I am the lock, I said. He smiled. Then let them knock. Outside, thunder rolled. Inside, I felt steady. Not safe yet, but steady. For the first time in my life, I wasn't waiting for an apology or a shoe to drop. I was just waiting for nothing. And nothing, it turned out, was beautiful. By the end of the month, the air around me changed. Not the weather, the atmosphere. The silence wasn't punishment anymore. It was proof that peace doesn't always make noise. Ethan's loan deadline came and went. No miracle cosigner appeared. He texted screenshots of notices, each message a little more frantic than the last. Fix this. Then, they said no. One last chance. Please. Then, you'll destroy me. I didn't reply. Instead, I wrote a single sentence in my notebook that night while parked at a rest stop under a sky thick with stars. Responsibility belongs to the person it belongs to. I underlined it twice. Mom's next wave was guilt in cursive. She sent links to articles about forgiveness, prodigal sons, families reuniting. Then a message that read, "A good heart doesn't keep score." I stared at it until the letters blurred, then replied with the same steady hand that used to shake, "A good heart doesn't keep receipts either." Send, mute. That was the last text I answered. Weeks turned into a rhythm. Mornings started with black coffee and sunlight cutting across the cab. Evenings ended with Ryan's voice through the speaker. Quiet, kind, unfixing. He didn't tell me what to do. He just stayed on the line long enough for me to forget that staying calm used to feel like rebellion. Do you ever miss them? He asked once. Some parts, I said. The ones that never really existed. He didn't press, just said, "That's honest. That's enough." I started doing small, normal things. Bought a new lock for my apartment door. Heavy brass, smooth twist. Took my first Saturday off the road in months. Went to the lake and sat without headphones. Listened to ducks, to wind, to nothing that wanted anything from me. I realized stillness doesn't mean stuck. It means the ground isn't shaking under you anymore. 2 weeks later, a letter showed up. Handwritten, no return address. Inside, Mom's handwriting, looping like it used to on permission slips. 3 pages. Page 1, regret. We said things in anger. You've always been the strong one. We didn't realize how much we leaned on you. Page 2, guilt. Your father's health isn't good. Ethan's struggling. Max misses you. Page 3, the hook. We're selling the house, but we're underwater on the mortgage. Just a little help, Harper. Do it for the family. Then we'll never ask again. I let the letter rest on the table, under the light. Let myself feel everything they wanted me to feel. Responsibility, nostalgia, the reflexive need to fix what's broken. Then I folded it gently, walked to the kitchen, and dropped it in the trash. They weren't asking for help. They were asking for access. And access was the one key I wasn't making copies of anymore. Summer crept in. Ryan started talking about taking a trip. Nothing big, just a drive upstate, a cheap cabin, air that smelled like pine instead of diesel. I said yes before he even finished the sentence. We went for 3 days. No phones, no group chats, no spreadsheets. Just coffee on a porch, mosquitoes, and the slow kind of laughter that doesn't hide anything. On the last morning, as the sun came up through fog, he said, "You think they'll ever really stop?" "Probably not," I said, "but I'll stop answering." He nodded. "That's freedom, huh?" "It's closure," I said, "real closure." When we got back, I opened my phone for the first time in days. Only one unread message, from Dad. 3 words, "You good, kid?" I typed back, "Good." He replied, "It wasn't affection, but it was clean." And clean, I've learned, counts for more than warm. That weekend, I drove the short route, home before dark. The apartment smelled like coffee grounds and laundry soap. On my counter sat the jar I'd labeled months ago, emergency. Next to it, a smaller jar, empty, freshly labeled in black marker, future. I dropped a 10 in it, then another, then laughed at how small and how big that sound was. Paper against glass, weight against history. Later that night, I opened the drawer where I'd kept the pair of dinosaur socks for Max. Still new, still bright. I didn't cry. I didn't post. I just touched the fabric, folded it tighter, and said quietly, "Maybe one day, buddy. Maybe one day you'll understand." I don't drive as many overnight hauls now. I pick my routes, I pick my company, and I pick my peace. Every morning when I step out of the cab, I hear that small, perfect sound a lock makes when it fits. A clean, final click. People ask me if I'm angry. I was. Now I'm clear. There's a difference. My name is Harper Lane. I drive a rig with my name on the manifest and my hands on the wheel. My phone is quiet. My sleep is long. My boot is clean. And when someone throws my piece of cake on the floor, I don't eat it. I buy my own cake, sit in my cab, and enjoy it with black coffee while the sun comes up over an open, empty highway.